I was popping, y'all. Lou Too Sick. We are back in the lab, the home gym slash studio. Tuesday, November 14th, and we're coming off a great weekend of fights, a beautiful weekend of fights. UFC 295 taking place in New York City at Madison Square Garden, and we saw two new titleists come out of the night for the UFC. And first, let's talk about it. Let's break down the results. First, Tommy Aspinall defeating Sergey Pavlovich to become the new UFC heavyweight champion. Yeah, great fight. First round knockout for Tommy Aspinall, and it was a true testament of the athleticism that Tommy Aspinall brings to the division, an athleticism that we haven't seen before from any other fighter. So how the fight started off, if you haven't seen my reaction on TikTok where I'm watching the fight, feel free to go take a look. I'm not going to put that on YouTube for copyright purposes, but head over to TikTok and take a look. But yeah, the fight started, of course, on the feet. And Sergey landed a good shot early, and it was very interesting to see Tommy just brush that off. I was watching it and I said, hey, we got to weather the storm here, so let's not get too carried away. Tommy, let's just take a deep breath and let him come to you and make a mistake. And that's exactly what Tommy did. They exchanged, and in an exchange, Aspinall landed, Sergey went out. Simple as that. Sergey went out, ref stopped the fight. Now Tommy is the new champion of the UFC heavyweight division. Real interesting, because after the fight, he said he couldn't really even train for this fight because of a back injury. So that back injury actually kept him out of the gym for a little while before the fight. And that's real interesting because it was a short notice fight. So not only were you short notice, Dana White said that his team got the call when he was on vacation, and he also got a back injury. Hey, salute to you, man. The sky's the limit if that was your performance and you were compromised like that.
I think this will take a while to sink in, to be honest. It's been an absolutely crazy 2.5 weeks. I've been saying, I can tell people now, I basically didn't have any training camp at all. I wasn't really in the best shape. I got the call like 3-4 days after. I pulled my back really bad. I couldn't barely even move or do anything.
Now, after this, for the UFC heavyweight division, it's real interesting because we're all on hold right now. We're all on hold. We're waiting for Stipe Miocic and Jon Jones. Jon Jones just had surgery, so we're waiting for that matchup to happen. The question is, will those two guys end up facing Aspinall for a UFC heavyweight belt shot once they're done? I personally don't think that's going to happen. I think both of them have expressed intent in the past, in the lead-ups to this fight, that this is their biggest payday, this is their biggest fight going forward, and I think they'll hang it up after this. With that said, like I said in the preview, the Pavlovich-Aspinall match was really setting up the future landscape of the UFC heavyweight division. Now, with that said, what other matchups could be on the horizon for Tommy Aspinall if Jon Jones or Stipe Miocic does not want to come back and contend for that heavyweight belt? We could see a Curtis Blades matchup coming up. We could see a Cyril Gane matchup coming up. That'll be real interesting. Cyril Gane versus Tommy Aspinall. Both guys very, very athletic. I would think Tommy Aspinall has the advantage on the ground. Other fighters, also Alexander Volkov could be it. Almeida, he just fought a few weeks ago. So really, this just set up the whole heavyweight picture going forward, and there's a plenty of opportunities for the heavyweight division for Tommy Aspinall. And hey, with his skill set, with what everybody said, Bisping has said it, Chael Sonnen has said it, Dana White even was saying it at the press conferences after the fight, that he's heard a lot of stories about Aspinall in the gym. And what we've gotten really is just a small sample test because Aspinall has been finishing guys so quick. So going forward, it'll be real interesting to see if this is the era of Tommy Aspinall, and that athleticism that he brings to the table ushers in a new chapter for the UFC division. Now, our main event, man, our main event was a beaut. It was a really fun watch, man. Both these guys are just two like assassin-like characters. On one end, you have Jiri Prochazka. He's a former champion. He came out in his gi. He came out with his bun. They were playing the promotions the whole night of him meditating in the jungle. We've seen the videos of him hitting trees. So man, this guy, hella interesting, hella entertaining. Of course, he's coming out with crazy elbows, knees, crazy strikes. And then you got Pereira, who's in his own right, Alex Pereira, who I'm talking about, who in his own right is crazy interesting. He's got the tattoos. He's got the look on his face that he's like a straight assassin. Crazy elbows. Also a good personality on social media. Has no problem talking his ish when he wants to talk it. So I was real excited going to this fight. Both those guys, their entrances lived up to it. You had, of course, Prochazka, like I said, wearing the gi. You had Pereira doing his little arrow thing. I was hyped going in. And hey, and once again, we were right with the prediction, man. We had said that Pereira was going to win by maybe a round 4, 5 knockout, round 3 knockout. Actually came a lot sooner than we anticipated. And Jiri had some success early. He was landing some shots, but Pereira was just figuring out his distance, figuring out his range on Prochazka. Pereira was having great success with his leg kicks. And Prochazka immediately, I think within the first 1 or 2 kicks, was immediately showing that, ow, that hurts. And that goes into what I was saying, that Pereira is a true veteran of this game. He might have only 10 to 12 fights in the UFC, but he has a long career before this as a fighter, and he knows how to game plan. He knows how to just take a deep breath in there and let the fight come to him. You got a long 15 minutes, you got a long 25 minutes. So that's exactly what Pereira did. Pereira started from the bottom, made his way up, and was landing on Prochazka, hurting him with those leg kicks. So yeah, in round 2, it's a little bit more success for Pereira, landing the leg kicks. You have Jiri switching up his stance a little bit more, having trouble planning on that front leg kick. So he's trying to give him different looks. About 4 minutes into the second round, Jiri tries to push the pace. And like I said before, hey, Pereira, you're a mastermind. Work your way from the bottom up. And that's exactly what happened. Jiri pushed the pace. He knew he had to get a little dirty with Pereira. That's when he ended up getting caught and dropped. Jiri wasn't completely out though. He shot for a takedown, and then Alex followed up with some great 12-6 elbows against the cage. Eventually, if it looked like Jiri was pulling Alex down, it kind of looked like, so the referee stopped the fight. All right, the referee stops the fight because Jiri was getting 12-6 elbows to the head, and he ends up pulling Pereira into full mount. It kind of looked like Jiri was out, but what he was really doing was pulling Pereira into full mount. The referee stopped the fight. Now, since then, all over TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, people have been talking whether or not it's an early stoppage. I think that argument completely goes out the window. That argument completely goes out the window after the fight, in the post-fight interviews, when Jiri talks about that stoppage, which he says is completely valid, completely legitimate. And then also, if you look at the stoppage, Jiri was pulling Pereira into full mount. What was basically about to happen was Pereira was just going to finish the job with a bunch of strikes. Now, I know we can't assume, with Jiri telling us that he was out, the debate is over. We shouldn't be having this debate into the new week. And shout out to Jiri. He took the loss on the chin. And you saw that emotion come out after the fight. Man, it's a lot to be injured. Train your way to come back. You have this big comeback for the title. Everyone's excited. They're building you up for this big moment. And you end up performing less than what you thought you were going to perform as. And it's I've had that experience fighting in the ring before. In the past, I was the #1 ranked fighter going into, I think, the 2013-2014 college nationals at my weight class. I ended up losing in the opening round. And yeah, you wanna cry in that ring. But Jiri, as a man, he took that on that chin and he sucked it up. And he said he'll be back better than ever. And it's real interesting to see what will go for him going forward. Especially for Pereira too. This is a great new chapter for the UFC light heavyweight division. You have Pereira, who has the possibility of holding on to this belt for a lot longer. After the fight, he was calling out Adesanya. I didn't really understand until like Monday that he was calling out Adesanya. I think that was a bad move on his part. I think let Adesanya rule the middleweight division. This is a world where you guys can both coexist. You're a big dude. You can rule the light heavyweight division for a long time. And if you look at the opposition you have coming ahead of you, I don't know why you would want that Adesanya fight right now. Hey, be kings for a little while, guys. Be kings for a little while. And then, maybe like a Jones and Stipe type situation, your guys' last fight of your career will be against each other. And what a way to end a career against one of your rivals. So like I said, Pereira, I think, did a bad move there, calling out Adesanya. Instead, should be focused on Jamal Hill, focused on the other names in the light heavyweight division that he could be facing going forward. After the fight, UFC President Dana White said that fight is completely Jamal Hill's. Jamal Hill has the next shot at Alex Pereira for the belt.
Yeah, Israel's a weight class below him now, but we've seen that. Yeah, he Jamal Hill, when he's ready, is the fight that makes sense.
Do you have any idea how his recovery is going? Is he informed you when he might be ready to fight?
Going good. Apparently it's good. I don't know.
If I'm Pereira, I'm licking my chops. Because, hey, Jamal Hill is a great fighter, gritty fighter, nice boxing type guy. But if I'm Pereira, I'm banking on my experience. I'm a world champion in not only 2 UFC weight classes, I was a world champion in other weight classes in other sports that had to deal with striking. So if I'm Pereira, let me get this one under my belt. I think going into that Jamal Hill fight, I would have him as the favorite. I would pick him as the winner. But man, you got other fighters. You got Ankalaev there. You got Johnny Walker, who's putting up a little bit of some momentum right now. Volkan Ozdemir, if he ends up winning a few more. So those are all fights, though. If Pereira goes into them, I have him as the favorite. And if I'm Pereira, hey, I'm sitting pretty. I'm sitting pretty, and I'm staying in the weight class that I'm at. I don't have to cut weight anymore to middleweight. So chill, bro. You're the top guy. Don't worry about an Adesanya fight, because that fight will end up coming. But yeah, it was a great night of fights. It was a real great night of fights. Some other great performances. If you haven't seen the great knockout by Benoit Saint-Denis, that was a cool knockout. He's another guy. He just popped into the pound-for-pound rankings with that victory. I think he is now number 11 in the pound-for-pound. Also, Diego Lopez. You all know we love Diego Lopez from when he debuted. Yeah, and ever since then, his debut was a loss, but that was to a top 10 opponent. Since then, he's just been putting on show after show. He got a bonus on Saturday night. Lupi Godinez, the Mexican queen, she ended up winning her 4th fight of the year, which is crazy. 4 fights in 1 year. That's a fight every 3 months. And if you're not getting a medical suspension after your fights, man, you're getting right back into the gym. So big salute, big ups, big respect to her. And another great night for the UFC in Madison Square Garden. So that's not it, though. We got another big card coming in December to end out the year. That card is Edwards and Covington. We got Pantoja and Royval for the flyweight title. Also, Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. That's a very interesting fight. Of course, Paddy Pimblett, Tony Ferguson. That's a beautiful fight. That'll be interesting to watch. I'm praying Tony Ferguson is able to get his stuff together, ends up pulling it out. But we'll preview all that in the future. Do some of that on UFC 5. And we'll talk all about it right here. If you watch this video, hit the comments. Let me know what you guys thought about UFC 295, what you guys thought about Saturday night, what you think is coming up next for both Alex Pereira, both Tommy Aspinall, the heavyweight divisions, the light heavyweight divisions. Let us know. Let us chop it up. Stay tuned, because we got more stuff coming in the world of combat sports, from some news stories that we're working on, some combat cinema stuff, even some video game plays, some streams, just all across the board. I'm gonna just be bringing stuff. And if you're a fan of combat sports, just make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because you know the movement's going. All right, love y'all. Thank you guys for watching. Lutu Sick. We are out.
Every time I wake up, shit feel the same. Got a million thoughts and they weighing on my brain. Sipping on my favorite liquor just to ease the pain, cause I feel like I'm crazy and desperate need to change. Making plans to move and talking state to state. Talking pounds and haze, medical high grade. Look how my eyes stay, what more can I say? How dare a nigga tell me that this rap won't work?